I hope I'm not speaking too soon, but I think I actually did this one perfectly. I haven't noticed anything wrong, so I think I did it.
Nice.
I'm very proud of myself. We've been doing this for over a year now, and
Yeah.
just like finally we got the we're live. We did it. It's happened once. It will never happen again. Um, so today on Loose Canon, we are talking about the Solstice of Heroes. Specifically, we're going to be going back a little bit to the 2018 Solstice of Heroes because that actually had some pretty interesting lore on it. And I can see that Guardian's wearing his Solstice of Heroes shirt,
Ah, cool.
so that's very appropriate.
It was fitting.
Yeah, it's a good fit for the episode this week, and I got new mic stuff, so that shouldn't be too audible. It used to be horrible, because, but yeah, Baxter has issues with his mic.
Yeah, I just have issues.
So where should we begin? Solstice of
Mm.
Heroes, right? Last year,
Yeah.
Destiny 2 was the first time we ever had Solstice of Heroes. Was Solstice of Heroes like a newly formed holiday last year, or was that like one of the, because like the Festival of the Lost and the Dawning and the Crimson Days, those are all like city things, right? You know, none of them
Hmm.
are things that we as Guardians created, but Solstice of Heroes really feels like the a Guardian created holiday that was meant to come in with the moments of triumph, which we've had for a while.
Yeah. I think it
Right,
was. I think
it
that was the.
totally did. It almost seemed like we did have history with the Solstice of Heroes, but it was new to us
Mm.
because remember
Hmm.
in the pre Solstice of Heroes art that we had, there was like celebration and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's interesting actually. When you think, yeah, so the Solstice of Hero armor, you know, in the opening mission to
Mhm.
Destiny 2, we're wearing this armor,
Yeah.
and it's the
Oh
like,
yeah. It was celebratory armor, and it was supposed to be
yeah,
like a big day
Uh-huh.
for us, but then Gaul
yeah.
came and messed everything up.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a maybe well, but then that was. I know it's hard to kind of associate. I know that like real time is roughly the same as time in Destiny,
Yeah,
but
it is perfectly in sync unless they want to make something fit a little bit better. So
yeah,
like technically this is the second anniversary of Gaul, but it has been 2 years, even though it hasn't been 2 years, but it's close enough,
yeah,
so whatever.
yeah. So yeah, it's kind of strange. So but I think this was the first time that we as players had experienced anything
Hmm.
like, maybe there was some sort of celebration prior to Solstice of Heroes that wasn't. Maybe it was just like a city parade or something. I don't know.
Well, that was one of the Destiny 2 launch concept arts. Remember that it
Yeah,
had the
yeah.
3 class banners and everything, and everyone's like, "Oh, what's that symbol
Hmm.
mean?" It's 3 classes. You can see
Hmm.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this Solstice of Heroes is a little bit different from last year. Last year was all about remembering the year past and everything that happened because it was a big year. You know, the Red Legion came in and they just messed everything up. They destroyed the tower. They killed a bunch of people. They enclosed the Traveler and this severed, as it's called in the lore. They severed our connection to the light, and that was something that was kind of up for debate, right? Like
Hmm.
back then it was like, do we need the Traveler to have our light? Could the Traveler be destroyed but we'll still be fine, type of thing. So it was really interesting to get that like confirmation when the Traveler
Hmm.
is, if the Traveler dies, humanity's probably going to go next. The Hive, the Fallen, the Cabal, the Vex, whatever it is, they are going to destroy
Yeah.
us without issue.
Mm. Yeah, and it's interesting. I still kind of wonder, like, what is that relationship like, really? Because like we were chosen by our ghosts to be guardians because we possess something, because we have some innate light, some ability in us, but seemingly it's not enough to exist. It's not enough to channel the light without the traveler, you know. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, because
That wasn't just without the Traveler.
Hmm.
Also, like, but it wasn't without the Traveler. The Traveler was still alive. It was literally just a cage was put around him.
Yeah, but I'm
What
guessing
actually
that.
happened if the Traveler was killed?
Well, I don't. I imagine the effect would probably be at least the same, if not worse.
Like, I wonder,
Well, they're on
like,
a
would our
different
ghost just
plane, though.
completely die if the Traveler was killed? The only reason they stayed alive during that was if the Traveler stayed alive, because we just lost the light, but ghosts are still there.
I don't see why though. I mean, it's possible, I guess, but I don't know. I don't think there's anything that would say, oh well, if the traveler created the ghosts, ghosts brought us back to life.
So
If the traveler was to disappear, like, would we suddenly drop dead? I don't think so. I don't think we'd have the light anymore, but I don't think we'd suddenly drop dead. Would ghosts suddenly fall out of the sky?
yes,
Personally, I don't think so.
but not
I don't
die.
think so.
But remember, in the homecoming mission when we're facing Gaul, that's when they close off the Traveler, and our ghost is like, I don't feel good, and not that it died, but it was like,
Yeah.
it got knocked on its ass, and I think that would
Yeah.
happen. Like ghosts and
Yeah.
guardians would have that feeling of losing the light, where it's like getting punched in the gut, and it wouldn't be good, but it wouldn't kill them. It would vastly weaken them for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible because we don't know what would happen if the traveler was to actually die. But yeah, I agree with the nun. I think that it would have similar effect to the cage that Gaul put around the traveler. Maybe worse of an effect, but I don't think ghosts would suddenly drop dead. Personally.
Hey, I didn't think about that until just now, but remember when in the Ghost Grimoire, Speaker says, in his dying breath, the Traveler created the ghost, seek out those who can wield its light as a weapon, guardians to protect us, and do what the Traveler itself no longer. So if, if the speaker wasn't lying.
Sorry to interrupt you. Is Rhino quiet for anyone else, or is it just for me?
Yes, super quiet.
Is there anything you can do?
Is it quiet? I can turn it up. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. I figured if it's quiet for us, it's quiet for the people on stream too.
Yeah.
Yeah. See. Yeah, go ahead. But if you heard that.
Yeah, no, like, I don't even know what I was about to say there.
That's probably
True.
There.
Can somebody summarize what Rhino said? Because I completely lost the thread.
That's kind of a dramatic version of it.
Because basically, if he was saying the Traveler created the ghost in its dying breath to do what it can't, so I think what Rhino was trying to say was that the ghosts would supply light, which I would disagree with if that was the case, because I mean we've seen it. They don't.
I used to think that.
Yeah.
But I think, and maybe there is an element of that. Because without a ghost, I don't know what a guardian. Anyway,
remember that
I used to think that, but now with the cage that Gaul put around the Traveler and the fact that we all lost our light, that makes me think that actually the Traveler is the kind of source of light for guardians.
Right.
Otherwise, it's maybe a little better. It's still quite quiet though.
Remember that old electronic diagram we drew like years ago, and I forgot if it was like a Slack channel or whatever it was, where the Traveler is the power source, the ghost is the transformer, and the Guardian is the load. So it would be basically like this. So we have the Traveler here supplying the light. We have the ghost there, which converts the light from AC current to DC current, so that we can go and be powered. And so, I mean, it kind of feels that way when you sever that connection between ghost and Traveler not being there anymore. Then the ghost has nothing to feed, and then we just have nothing to get. We turn off.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a diode. That wasn't an LED. That was close enough.
So
we saw that happen.
Yeah.
But
But
what
what
about the
happened is, like,
shot of?
we fell, and then the ghost couldn't do anything. It was just like hanging out with us, like, hey, if you die, I'm just useless.
Yeah.
Like, I literally can't do anything for you.
It was like, I can heal you, but that's about all I can do.
Patch,
think-
I can fix that. Oh, you're dead. Nope.
I think Atlas kind of mentioned what I was about to mention, which is that, like, if that is the case, how is it that the shard of the is what is the shard of the traveler? Obviously, I know it's a shard of the traveler, but what does that actually mean? Like, how is that?
Magic.
Is it like does every piece of the traveler innately have some sort of light in it?
Well, obviously.
But then, you know,
Well,
like
so no.
in the Solstice of Hero lore tabs,
Mm-hmm.
Ikora went to visit the Shard of the Traveler before we did,
Yeah.
and she didn't get her light back. So, like, what is the but I don't know. I don't know what my
But
question
Magic.
is really.
I think the question would be,
Well, I
why
think
did
it's-
Ikora go to the Traveler specifically? Because we went to the Shard of the Traveler because we had that vision, and we learned that. I wanted to say Eva, not Eva. The other grandma in the farm.
Tyra.
Yeah, Tyra. Thank you.
Oh
We
yeah.
learned that Tyra also had that vision. So it wasn't an exclusively us thing. There were multiple Guardians who had that vision, but I'm not sure if every Guardian had that vision. And it could have been like Ikora went there because Ikora is like, the Traveler is enclosed. Maybe the Shard can do something for me. And it didn't give her the vision. She just went there on her own idea. And because of that, so I actually have it right here. She turned to the Shard and took a step toward it. Another step past two dregs she'd taken from above an hour earlier. Another step over a wretch that had caught her off guard right after. One more step as she stretched out her palm to touch the surface of the Shard, closed her eyes and waited, and waited. Nothing. Her eyes shot open and she stared at the cast-off piece of the Traveler, silent, disbelieving, furious, pleading, then serene. She stood for another minute, staring, then performed a few calculations in her head. She looked to an empty spot in the sky. Io. So it doesn't sound like, to me, it doesn't sound like nothing happened. It sounds like something happened, but it wasn't, here's your light. It was, here's your path. Because then after the Red War, after we reclaimed the city, she kind of became a role of the speaker. You know, she's standing where the speaker generally would have stood in direct shot of the Traveler. She's in Forsaken, she talks about how the speaker's been, or how the Traveler's been communicating with us, and how there are new powers to get now, and that's how we get our new powers. And she's obviously had hers, Cade had his, and Zavala even went to Io to try to get his, but he couldn't do it because he was too stubborn, or whatever the case may have been for Zavala specifically.
Yeah. But I still guess it. Sorry, you go on, Rhino.
No, I was just going to say, I would also imagine that they were a little bit upset with kind of holding each other responsible for what had happened. And I think Ikora kind of probably felt responsible too, because she's in charge of the Hidden, and they supposedly have the intel to know these things are about them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Zavala, being the leader, feeling as if he failed everyone by allowing this to happen. And then Cade, just being the road crazy guy, kind of feeling a sense of responsibility to do whatever he can to fix the situation. That's the difference between Cade and the other two mentors, is Cade won't sit there and dwell and pity about something, or I shouldn't say that, but Cade will just kind of, okay, everything's falling apart. Oh, I need to hurry up and fix it. You know, he'll just do whatever he can, instead of kind of sit there and wallow and be remorseful about it. So I think that there was probably a little bit of tension between the three, and that's why they went on their separate ways, because they felt defeated. But maybe the vision that Ikora had was, like you said, it was almost like a prophecy that she saw, and she knew her place in fulfilling that.
Well, I think
that maybe the Traveler did give her some sort of vision, but it was just, hey, go to Io.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. I think each of them followed the path they felt they had to follow. Like, Cade was like, I need to be the hero here. I need to figure out a way. And like in his Solstice armor lore entries, he's conferring with the Vanguard terminal, and he's like, how did that Guardian defeat Crota? And it's like, oh, they went to the Ascendant Plane. No, not that. How did they defeat Skolas? Prison of Elders? No. When Skolas pulled the wolves through time, and he's like, yes, that's how I can do this. I
Yeah,
can get some
that was
Vex
it.
crap and just go kill Gaul. And he gets it in his head, like, this is my plan. I haven't thought it through, but it's going to work. And because that's who Cade is. But Zavala was like, I need to protect as many people as I can. And Ikora was like, I need to figure out what happened to the Traveler. And they just all had their own identities. I wouldn't say that they were in any disagreement with each other, per se, though.
Yeah. I think at that point, in a way, like they went their separate ways to achieve like the same goal by different means. But yeah, I think they just followed their nature.
Yeah.
Really did what came naturally.
Which is pretty cool when you think about it. And in hindsight, that the writers had the foresight to know that each one would react differently, and what they might do.
The I remember before Destiny 2 launched, there was that audio file leak. Like, that's been happening more and more because of the PC launch and everything. But before Destiny 2 even launched, there was an audio file leak that involved like, there was something about Cade that it very heavily hinted that Cade was going to die. And I was like, and this wasn't Forsaken, this was Destiny 2, like, Red War stuff. And I was like, oh my god, like, Cade is gonna do something stupid and he's gonna die. And then you get to that scene when they're like in the city and it's that big fight before Gaul, and Cade has the teleporter up and he's missing an arm and he's missing a leg, and I'm like, oh no, like, is he actually about to die? Like, is that like, can he bleed out? Like, I know he's a robot, but can, like, electricity just, like, shoot out of his arms or something? I don't know how exos work. They are a different thing.
Well, we didn't get the reason why there was Shiro audio files either. Those were some audio files that were mixed in there too. We never did hear from Shiro.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and this is one of the reasons why I just, like, think that leaks, you can't, until you actually experience it in the game, you can't know what is used and what isn't used. There seems to be a bunch of, like, there's a bunch of stuff that was added. Like, I know we've spoken about this before, but there was, like, some frame, like, what was he called?
Taco. That, like,
Taco.
explosions.
Yeah.
Taco.
I was going to say hot dog, and I was like, no, it's definitely not hot dog. What is it?
It's the opposite of hot
taco.
dogs.
You are so right.
I would almost take a whole game of just frames.
Yeah, they need more frames. They have civilians that are going like, "What's up, Guardians? Give me frames that go, I like explosions. Like, I love this frame. This is my favorite frame."
There's a shot from it was like before Destiny 1 launched, and the tower was patrolled by frames carrying around, like, machine guns, like rifles, auto rifles.
Wasn't that in the Reef?
Yeah, they still do.
No, it was in the but like in this, it was just like a trailer.
Okay.
Super early release trailers.
Yeah, it was an early release trailer. It was the Guardian arriving in the tower, and there were frames patrolling, like, back and forth. You know, the area that you land in, that big kind of balcony type area in the old tower?
I cannot remember the old tower at all.
Okay. You know where Tess Everest's store used to be in the old tower?
No, I just said I don't know it at all.
I was hoping I would jog your memory.
0 hour.
What about 0 Hour?
Okay, I'm just gonna keep
Shank spawn.
What does what does 0 Hour have to do with the old tower?
You are too much of a troll.
Screwing with us at this point. This is what's happening. Like a gap where it's like, okay, I think he's serious, and then I realize that he's just like, damn it, again, every time.
So anyway,
that's my goal.
Yeah, there was a video where those frames would, like, patrol, and I don't really know why they took that out, but yeah.
Just on the topic of, like, random things that you think aren't actually going to end up in the game, that Shaxx line where he quotes Shakespeare. It's like a super hard Crucible achievement to trigger it, but it was one of the audio lines that I've heard at one of the audio drop points, and he's like, "What's that one? she is the sun and Juliet is the whatever. Do you know how that goes?
I don't know how it goes. I think I know the line you mean.
It's like a very famous line. I don't know it personally, but it's basically that he like Shax is saying like
What it is?
Soft what light through yonder window breaks.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
I didn't think
that's it.
Shax said that.
Shax says that, and then he says, and however that line ends, he goes, and I am the crucible. Like that's how it goes.
That was it.
My wife is very upset that we didn't know that quote. I heard her yell from the other room, just like in anger.
Listen, Shakespeare was a hack.
I mean, yeah, this is a Shakespeare podcast.
Yeah, there we go. Dusty V just had it. It is the East, and I am the crucible. That's the line.
Bring us back on the topic.
Solstice,
I didn't know Shax. I didn't know that was one of Shax's lines.
It's a very hard to achieve line because it's crucible.
Do you achieve it?
I don't know how.
If you ever get an opportunity,
Shakespeare,
nice. watch Jonathan Toe talk about Lenny James. Talk about his Shakespearean method and how they recorded that line. It's pretty good. Anyway, he mentioned when they were doing a lot of his lines, like Lenny doesn't even play Destiny, so he can't remember any of the lines that he recorded for Destiny except for that one Shakespeare line.
Well, that's one that you would remember, right?
Yeah.
So
well, there's a great video of a panel that Jonathan Toe did at Guardian Con.
Find that.
I guess, yeah.
You're not gonna actually plug it or anything. You're just gonna.
Well, I can. I don't know. I felt like. Hang on. Let me find a.
Actually, plug it, and I'll continue. So Solstice last year, we were sent on meditations from Ikora, where we would relive some of the events from the Red War campaign, and things were different. Like the servitor that spawned an infinite number of other servitors, and everyone lost their mind about that. And I don't remember what else was actually changed. That was the big change, though. That was the memorable and fun one. This year, however, we learned that the warlocks.
Well, sorry.
We learned a little something interesting about the warlocks, though. I guess Ikora has a team of warlocks who can just levitate giant chunks of earth from the ground. Like, why?
But there's a lot of stuff.
Guardians, and we can do it.
For the for like the Dawning and for Festival of the Lost and different things, there are like there's the giant snowflake thing that Ikora makes.
I mean, like that's pretty. It's in the city. It's whatever, and it's like I can also understand like when the haunted forest was a glitch, and then Osiris is like, oh, the Guardians like that. Well, I mean, I can be festive. I can make a verdant forest for them, and but then it's like warlocks are like, hey, let's take that 3 blocks of city and just lift it up into the air, and also we'll pick up because they're what are they called uprooted, Cabal and Fallen and Hive, and they're like, let's also grab some Hive and some Fallen and Cabal. We'll just throw them up on this island. They gotta be freaking out. Like, what is happening right now?
Yeah,
a lot more than that block. If you look around, there is tons of giant islands floating.
It's like if they did it with one island, I'd be like, all right, that's its own thing. I can understand why you would do that. But they're just like, yeah, let's just like lift up this giant section of the EDZ that no one goes to up 100 feet into the sky, or that's not very high, very high into the sky.
Yeah, if they're capable of doing that, like, well, I suppose actually at the same time, I don't know how I feel about this.
Will it continue to fly forever, or is there a team of warlocks like chanting that's keeping it up right now?
That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
the warlocks underneath on the ground, just like sitting there staring at it, like, okay.
Just sitting there.
Yeah.
And when you're not. And when you're not playing, they just take a break and just let it collapse.
Yeah, it just falls right down. They have to rebuild it. They got Siva for that, though.
It just goes right back into its hole. They just picked it all up and it just fits right back in, and then they lift it up.
Perfectly.
Nice.
It's not even one solid piece. It's like also
No.
small other pieces that are just like disjointed and like I'm just like warlocks are weird architects. We don't have any warlocks on the podcast. We're all hunters.
Yeah.
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 Well,
One
like
thing
every
that I
now and
miss.
then.
One thing that I miss from last year is
The lower city.
last year we had access to this area that was like it was like the last city, but it was before the Red War happened.
No,
because
it was
the
just
tower
after.
was still-
It was after.
No,
it
the
was
tower
rebuilt.
was still in one piece.
What?
In the area that you went into in the meditations for last year's Solstice of Heroes, there was a massive tower, and I presumed it was supposed to be the tower, and it was all in one piece. It wasn't destroyed.
Well, I mean, the tower is still in one piece. It's just kind of messed up.
It has a lot of pieces missing.
Does it?
It looked like pristine.
Oh.
Let's see if I can find some pictures of it.
I don't think you can.
It's
Are you
like
talking
current
about-
day.
2018.
No? Okay.
Anyway,
But so
I have it on my
Where you have
PS4. I'm pretty sure I have a picture.
last year
The
last year's
tower
Solstice had really great lore because the Red War happened, we lost our light, and then as I posted earlier, I'll post a link again just for people. If you want to read the lore, there's the Rekindled set and the Resplendent set. The Rekindled set for each respective class has the respective vanguard and what they did during the Red War. Ikora told her Hidden to go hide, and she's like, we're gonna outlast the enemy, we're gonna wait until they become complacent, and then we're gonna take back our city. Meanwhile, she goes to the Shard, she goes to Io, she's fighting on Io, she's trying to keep the Cabal off of Io because it's such a sacred place for Guardians. Zavala immediately decides he needs to leave. They need a rally on Titan, so he puts out the beacon, and we actually picked up the beacon call, and it's the line. It ends with Zavala saying "Be brave," which I think is very important to note because then you have Cade who thinks I need to save the day, I need to do this, and so he goes to the computer terminal, he goes to Nessus. Failsafe hasn't communicated with anyone in years, and here comes Cade, and he's immediately like, I need to do something really stupid. And she's like, please don't though, because I'm lonely. And he's like, I can't do that right now, Failsafe. I need to be brave, which I just thought was like such a wonderful touch in the lore to have Cade, like, he would never say it, but he's doing it to impress Zavala. You know, he's like, he wants Zavala to be proud of him. And it's so sweet to like see that. And ultimately, Cade gets trapped. We go and save him. The Resplendent set, however, has a bunch of very sad stories where Guardians without their light still fight. And I think there was like one entry where they don't die.
yeah, most of them die.
Yeah.
It's like 15 cases of multiple or singular Guardians dying.
Yeah. Sad.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see if I can actually open this. You and your links never work. Okay, well,
dare
see,
you.
yeah, that's the picture of the destroyed tower. That's not a
No,
pristine
but
tower.
there's two links. There's two links in my.
Okay, if you say
in
so.
my
Oh, is there? No, there's not. Oh, well, you didn't.
one.
Oh, okay.
One is yeah. So you see, the first one that I put in there is the tower that we see during
So I'll throw that up
Solstice
on
of
screen.
Heroes.
This is the Solstice of Heroes tower. Are you sure that's the Solstice of Heroes tower and not?
I am. Yes.
I do not recall
Does it
that
have
looking
fireworks
like that.
around it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like I see the fireworks, but it doesn't look like it's from Solstice of Heroes specifically.
Yeah,
It
it
from
is.
Solstice of
I
Heroes.
do like the ships here. I can see.
Yeah.
I can't see.
I didn't like this. Isn't my screenshot, and I didn't know that there were the ships flying in formation. But
I'm
I
telling
do
you
remember
this is
seeing
not.
this.
I'm telling you, this is not from it.
I'm telling you, it is from it. I saw this myself when I played it a year ago. This was in Solstice of Heroes last year, and actually, a bunch of people. We just created a screenshots channel on the Ishtar Collective Discord. Although it's actually called Screeb Shots.
You're a dork.
It's mostly pictures of Screeb.
Is it?
Mostly.
I immediately
it's-
muted that channel.
It's 50-50. But a lot of people shared, pictures. Some of them were from Solstice of Heroes, and that's what reminded me that that is from Solstice of Heroes last year.
All right. I'll take your word for it.
Anyway, I am like positive that I remember going up to it and thinking, oh well, the tower's all in one piece. But so is this whole area like before the Red War happened? Is this a dream? It's very strange.
Do you remember the introductory mission that we had to the Solstice last year? Cora allows us to go to the tower. It's all intact. We get to walk around and all beautiful and stuff like that. And then we walked to her, and that was pretty much all you had. But if you ran around for a while, you could see what the tower looked like before it was destroyed.
Could you?
Well, I was thinking it was the city and not the tower.
I remember the city specifically.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. The city. That's what I meant. Then you could look up and see the tower.
So I guess it was just one giant warlock-induced hallucination. That's what I'm being told.
Yeah.
So ice crystals
are the fun ones.
No.
Ice crystals, floating rocks in
islands.
the EDZ, and mass hallucination. These are the things that warlocks are responsible for.
And they can meditate and allow us to go back to old myths.
Yeah.
So wait. Let me get this straight. I'm not going to make that joke.
That's unlike you. It must have been really bad.
I feel like it was inappropriate.
Wow.
Look, here's the thing.
I'm proud of you.
If you keep it in too long, Anon, it'll probably eat at you.
I mean, I'll let you guys. I'm going to say it after we finish the show. I just don't think it's appropriate for this show.
Good. An interesting thing is last Solstice, right? Like we had that armor, we brought it back,
and now we're doing it again
this year. That it's someone else's armor, right? It's not ours.
Yeah, majestic.
Why would it be someone else's armor? It's still our armor.
I thought that's what Eva said. I thought she said like she found this armor set from a dead, like it was belonged to another guardian. Like here, take this and like renew it.
Maybe she did say that. I don't remember her saying that, but that's kind of amazing if she did.
She has a dialogue. Yeah, he's right. She has a dialogue that briefly says something like, "Oh yeah, this armor from a dead, whatever." So somebody speculated that maybe this was one of the guardians that fell for the shadow, trying to join Callus's team because the name of the armor is called Majestic, junk like that.
Interesting.
Anyway, it was just speculation, but am I?
Yeah. If you can just boost it a little bit more, actually.
Yeah.
I can't boost.
Anyway, yeah, it was pretty neat. It was a pretty neat little speculation thought. Like if that was a guardian that fell into the darkness that left his armor behind?
No, Atlas NYC just said wasn't it the same name from last year? It isn't. This year it's Majestic. Last year it was Resplendent. Next year it will be Fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic doesn't sound fancy enough.
But with a PH.
Fantastic. Yeah, with a PH. God, I had something. I actually had something before you posted those links too. I was on a train of thought. I don't know what
Sorry,
it derailed.
I think you were saying how great I was.
Oh, okay. No, absolutely not. I remember now. Last year's armor was really great because it had all these stories from the Red War, and this year it doesn't have any lore on it, and it's very disappointing for me when something doesn't have lore.
It's got nothing.
I think actually the lore panel that you mentioned, they talked about Revoker not having its own like lore quest line or lore triumph or anything, and it was it just came down to they didn't have time, which it happens. It's understandable.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'll get over it, but it does feel like a missed opportunity. So if last
but you know what, we got great lines like our son, no, it's my son.
What?
Yeah, you know
it's such great puns.
The
bounty
names.
say that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're all a lot of them are really bad puns.
I love it.
You mean really great puns?
I just complete
Well,
them.
when it comes to puns, bad puns and good puns actually mean the same thing.
But either way, because you keep trying to derail me from a good point, it's that last year we had the solstice be about the Red War, you know, the big event that happened the year before. This year we don't have anything. And so I was thinking, like, what would it actually say? Because the Forsaken campaign was more of a personal thing. It was like our own thing. It wasn't a citywide fiasco where we have all these stories of people who have tried and failed to fight or have had their lives lost or whatever it was. And I wanted to ask you guys what you thought 2019 Solstice Armor lore could look like. I actually had two ideas myself. One would just be Stories of Cade, because that's the big loss of 2018, early 2018 Forsaken launch. Or, and I think this one's actually better, basically the Dreaming City was cursed during this timeline, you know, this timeline of events where we were exposed to it. And I think it would be really awesome if we got like stories of Awoken who have had to leave the Dreaming City, who have had to leave the Reef, who have tried to stay and are now stuck in that loop. Like, what's her name? Amrita? The Corsair that we always go and save because she gets shot every third week. She gets shot and she can't leave. Things like that.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. I think it would, you know, if you look at the so we had Forsaken, Season of the Forge, Season of the Drifter, Season of Opulence. I feel like in each of those seasons, there have been people who have been like affected. Do you know what I mean? People. So like the Awoken is a really good example. I'd also love to know more about maybe like what has Ada 1 been up to. You know, like since the events that took place in Season of the Forge. What, like, you know, maybe some more insight into what's happening with the Drifter.
Yeah, like the old set, they had Random Guardians and Vanguard. What if we had Awoken and then Hunters get Drifter, Warlocks get Ada, Titans get Callus, and so we just get like a little insight to them over the year that just happened.
Yeah, that would be. I would love that. Cool. And I think it's interesting. You know, some of the best lore. Obviously, I love the lore books. One of the things, the balance kind of shifted a little bit when Destiny 2 first came out, where there were a lot of like little personal stories, but no epic books of things that happened. Now that since Forsaken launched, we have lots of epic books of these are the things that happened, but we don't have like some of those smaller stories, I guess.
That's why Black Armory was my favorite.
Yeah, so and I can understand that. I feel as though I'd just like maybe I think it would be cool if we had a. I completely understand why they didn't have it, because it's, you know, time constraints, and if it means, you know, we would miss out on some great lore in Shadowkeep because they had to make some armor for Solstice of Heroes. Like, pick Shadowkeep. I'm fine. I can cope without getting armor lore. But if they could have had it, I would have loved to just see some little insights into some of the characters. Like Petra, we don't really know. Like, Petra's kind of in the loop as well. Like, she's stuck in this cycle. I don't know. I just I guess I'm just interested in learning more about their stories.
It would have been really cool if they had done.
Go on, Ryan.
No.
Sorry. We all talk at the same time sometimes. It's funny. We got like this weird rhythm. Anyway, no, I was just saying, I think it would have been great had they done, you know, just a little bit of a story for each one of the armor sets, or at least for each piece of armor, just give a one-line dialogue from all the characters that we've encountered all the newest characters that we have encountered over the last year, and then maybe at the end of the armor, the epic sets, we could have had like a line from those that we lost, or crazy things that are about to happen. We could have had a line from Cade, and we could have had a line from Aldrin. We could have had a line, just some of the more ominous figures.
I think like
maybe, yeah. Go ahead.
Say that would be like really nice, and I was kind of like, so I was gonna like I had my own kind of thing that I would have liked to see from the armor. So if you have like a topic to finish.
I would just go for a Guardian.
Yeah.
I just don't like I feel like, but I do miss those little stories, and I really love hearing about like the big grand stuff, because we're getting a lot of that. But I do miss the little tiny things happening.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like what if the Eva to Ikora and talking to like the Drifter and Ada.
You were cutting out really bad. Like I really don't want to
I don't
interrupt
know
you.
why.
We gotta like get together and really hash out this mic thing that you've got going on.
It's kind of
everything is showing connected.
But it's just like you're just saying a sentence and then it drops out.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Because I want to know what you're saying.
That was my impression.
Yeah.
But my mic's fine.
My voice might be too like weird for
Maybe you need something that captures your deep.
Are you using a mic on your headset, or are you using like a?
Maybe we need a Let's Get Guardian a microphone fund.
Yeah.
Because I have my other mic that I'll try next time, but I feel like I was having the same issue.
Next time we're on together, we'll just open up a Discord really fast, and we'll do some tests, because it feels like it's been happening more and more. It used to just be like a single word would be missed, but now it's like an actual sentence is being missed, and it's like
yeah.
I want to hear what you're saying.
Yeah. So you were saying that you miss something.
Yeah. You missed the small story. Basically, it just sounded like you were saying what Baxter said, though.
Oh, did you?
But if you guys can hear me, I'm gonna try to talk a little slower, see if that helps.
Okay. Yeah. So far.
If we get the stories from the point of view of Eva, to like the Drifter and Ada, and then talking to like other citizens of the tower, and like us getting more of like, oh hey, what is like, how are you feeling? Like, what's going on with you? Since like, hey, with everything that's happened, how do you feel? So like getting more insight into like, because Eva's like, she is the grandma, grandma that talks to everyone.
Dude,
her point of view, her talking to Ada and like, hey, welcome to like a little bit now, like, hi, welcome, here's some good, and like kind of getting like pulling some stuff out and like talking to the Drifter.
Can you
more
imagine?
It's like Ikora and like other citizens like of the city, and just like, hey, more of that personal story of how like citizens are reacting to Kate dying and everything that's happening.
Yeah,
can you imagine? Wait. Can you imagine if it was like, let's go to the people on the street, and then they cut pan to this guy on the street who's just a homeless bum
named
hey,
Billy.
How are you affected? Yeah, Billy, how are you affected by all of this that this recent happened? And he just yeah, and then they put that as a dialogue in the lore.
I mean, I
wouldn't be too enthused. I'd be like, okay, thanks. But it sounds like what Guardian was saying was like the Dawning Delights. Which do you think Dawning Delights is going to come back in 2019, or is it going to be like Dawning Delights Part 2, or is it going to just never happen again?
Because we need that super lightheartedness after the dark nightmare of Shadowkeep.
Yeah,
go give people some cookies.
I'm kind of worried. I'm kind of worried that some of that's going to get crammed now, just because of the Shadowkeep launch and being in October 1st. I'm just worried. I don't. It's probably nothing will happen.
I mean,
but I'm just worried that a lot of that.
Even if all they did was just, here's the season again, and here's some new armor to get. I mean, people would still be happy. They'd still enjoy the process of making the cookies, giving them to the people. The people who missed Dawning Delights first year could get it this year. Just stuff like that.
We
Yeah.
can make cupcakes this time and
Yeah,
have an oven that
exactly.
makes cupcakes. Well, to spend money on.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they've got lots of stuff planned, and I'm not really too. I don't know. One thing that worries me a little bit about Shadowkeep is that one of the reasons that, like Taken King worked so well was the relationship between Cade and Eris,
Mm-hmm.
and Eris is I love Eris. I think Eris is a great character, but it was really nice to have somebody light-hearted to
Balance
kind
it
of
out.
take because
Yeah.
there is the risk that she might like be so spooky as to be like funny almost. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's almost like
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's an element
Maybe.
of having some foil to play that off against almost made it more serious. And then when Cade was serious, you knew that like, okay, actually this is serious.
Yeah.
Like if they're both being serious, it's pretty serious.
Will this be
You
a
know?
point where Shiro could come
Oh,
back?
That would be cool. But at the
our
same time,
new
I don't know
Hunter
if
Vanguard.
I don't know if Shiro has the same. Like Shiro is definitely
he's
more
pretty serious.
lighthearted than
Hmm.
like Zavala, but it's not. He's not like. I mean, that's a
Who
pretty.
isn't?
Yeah, that's a pretty low bar to be honest. It's. I don't think. He's not like. He doesn't like make jokes and. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's definitely a hunter. He doesn't take it as seriously as a lot of the other people. But when you look at like Rise of Iron and the way that he and Saladin worked together, that kind of worked because they were both serious. But Shiro's like,
Yeah.
slow down, Saladin. You're not thinking about the big picture. You're not actually
Mm-hmm.
thinking this through.
Yeah.
And that
See,
kind of
Shiro
worked
is
as well. Hmm?
serious, but he's not depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't take
Yeah.
credit.
I'm
But it'll be-
curious.
I
Like,
mean-
kind of like
Grizzled.
depressing.
It seems like
At the same.
it seems like from the audio that we've been like teased that Eris
Mhm.
is gonna like be less depressing and more manic
Yeah.
this time around as well.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll bring the humor back. It's just kind of her silly manic.
I don't think
But
anyone's gonna be
start to ooze
laughing
through.
at her being
No,
manic.
No, that's and I hope that's not the sort. Like there has to be some sort of levity.
Hmm.
But one of the
Yeah,
things that was
absolutely.
great about the Taken King is that the levity came from Cade, who couldn't take anything seriously except when things were really
Well, she
serious.
could just wish. She could just make a wish in Ahamkara and bring Cade back. Let's just do that.
That's not how it works.
That's not how any of this works.
I just want to say real quick, one of my favorite lines in this game is Eris going, fingertips on the surface of my mind.
I don't get that.
Yes, and that is manic. That is crazy, and I think it's hilarious.
Everyone
pretty
likes that, and I don't like. It's a good line. I like Eris, but like, why?
Because
I mean,
it's
my
so
favorite-
weird and random, and you just have Zavala like, what did you just say? Like, what?
I mean, Zavala's reaction to it is fantastic. Like in that scene where it's like, he's like, okay, let's
Thanks.
get on with the mission, which is brilliant. But there's only so much of that, like, let's roll our eyes at Eris that you
Yeah.
could do before it's like, well, this is a serious person. This is a person who has gone through something traumatic, who has risked her life, her last life. She's not a guardian like the rest of her.
Well-
There's only so much laughing. Okay, she can't be resurrected like the rest of us can. There's only so much laughing that you can do before it's like, okay, but this is a real person.
But maybe
like
that's the direction Destiny's going. Like with Forsaken, where was the humor? It opens with Cade dying. Like it
Yeah.
opens with like a very
that's
sad
true.
event, and it just stays dark throughout. And then it doesn't even get like it's not even a satisfying like we killed the asshole who
Yeah, you're
killed
totally
Cade.
right.
It's like Aldrin has been manipulated, and you feel bad for him, or at least I did. I felt
Right.
bad for what Aldrin went through, and we have that scene where the screen goes black, the Ace of Spades and the Vestian Dynasty firing sounds both get played, and it's like up to the player to decide, did I shoot Uldren? Did Petra shoot Uldren? In my case, I would not have shot Uldren, but he killed a bunch of people in the reef too. If Petra is acting Regent, that's her thing. I'm not gonna stop her, but I'm not doing it either, because like that story to me was like an eye-opening story. We started it on revenge, but to me it ended on a revelation of Uldren doesn't deserve to die by my hand.
The story never really got lighter after that point.
No.
Like throughout the year, it's just been like we've had like some lighthearted events have been the lighthearted stuff. Everything else has been pretty dark and depressing. Like
like
and
good
day,
things
it's like
happened. There were success stories. There were jokes along the way, but it was never, there was never that like that moment where it was like, this is a happy time. This is a good time to be here. And I'm not like sad about that. I'm not like upset with it. I think that's cool. If that's where Destiny's going, I'm still along for the ride. But I'm saying maybe that is where Destiny's going.
Yeah, no, I think maybe you're right.
Means that we really need the Dawning more, because that's what I've really liked about the Dawning. It's like it had like playing in the Solstice and all those seasonal events. Like it's all about seeing that we're in like a dark and terrible place and celebrating what has happened before and all the good and the people who are alive. Solstice of Heroes is we're celebrating life a lot more in the next year.
All right. Well, this feels like a pretty good place to start wrapping things up. We're just about at our time, right? When do we stop? 10:15?
Yeah.
An hour and a half-ish.
Yeah. I have no idea. It feels like it's been forever since we did a show. But I wanted to end it.
Or like 10:30.
I wanted to end it with like a little bit of an announcement. We have not locked in a date because we want to make sure that as many of us are here as possible. But so, what should we call it? Like a Loose Canon event? Because it's not going to be the one about, right?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
So what we're planning to do is a special stream. I got to find my Elgato and set all that stuff up. We're planning to do a special stream where Guardian and Baxter and I will be, because we're on PS4. Rhino isn't, so he'll just be hanging out with us though. Or he'll still be hanging out with us. But Guardian, Baxter, and I, we're going to get into a fire team. We're going to go into Destiny 1, and we're going to explore the D1 moon in preparation for Shadowkeep dropping. We're going to... Because there's a lot of like neat little things about the moon that used to exist, and I'm excited to see if they still do exist. Like, remember the symbol that's also on Tanix's cloak? Guardian, remember that? The House of Scar theory? So yeah, I think it'll be a fun little adventure. And I want this one, I'm going to really actually try for this one to be like professional and get some of the D2 comparison screenshots so we can be like, this is literally where we are. This is what it's going to look like. This is a screenshot from Shadowkeep Moon. And I'm really excited about it. We're going to try to do it a little closer to the Shadowkeep launch. And since the launch was delayed, I think we're going to delay it a little bit because we were trying to do like what in like 2-3 weeks time.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll do it a little closer to October. So stay tuned for that. We'll announce a date when we can absolutely lock in a date for that to happen.
Awesome.
And if you want to stay tuned for that, you should follow us on Twitter. We are at Loose Canon Show on Twitter. Baxter, can you do the thing?
Well, this side?
Yeah, you got it. Right where Baxter is pointing, just a little bit to the left of where he's pointing, because he's pointing at videos right now. But it's spelt like that, at Loose Canon Show. No, wrong way. There you go. Wrong way. There you go. Yes, Vanna White. There you go. So, follow us on Twitter. We don't tweet. We're not tweeting about our day. We're tweeting updates about the show. So follow us there. If you came into the show late, if you want to watch or listen to any of our old podcasts, the pinned tweet has where you can find us in podcast form or on YouTube if you want to watch the show, because sometimes we put stuff on the screen. Sometimes it's just funny to watch me make faces at Baxter. And yeah. All right. Well, that was a good show. Our next show should be. I think next show is going to be. There's going to be some people missing, right? On August 18th.
Yeah, I think I will be away that day.
So we'll try to make it a good show.
Oh, you.
Maybe we'll talk about Osiris prophecies.
Ooh.
Because at that point, it's been long enough. Like, I'm free to talk about that comic. So maybe that show will talk about some Osiris prophecies.
That's fair. Cool.
All right. Well, have a good one, Guardians. We are going to say bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks